Sometimes life throws bold moments at you, like finding the perfect vacation or finding the ideal location. At BOS, we're there to help you meet those moments with bold confidence. So whether it's managing money for future plans or getting what you need to start planning your dream, we're here to bring you a better banking experience. Make the bold move and switch to BOS today.
Hi, this is Ron Kinscherf. This is a Business Spotlight brought to you by the Bank of Springfield. And today we're talking to Brian Spots with Spotted Hog Seasoning. So what you've done is kind of taken a side hustle now and converted it into a little entrepreneurship business on your, right?
That's correct. So I've been cooking for a long time, and I finally, people have told me, they said, man, you should open up a restaurant or you should do a food truck or something, and I have no interest in that.
Right.
But I've been cooking since 7th grade. And
so how did the seasonings come about, though?
so I've mixed a bunch of my different seasonings just from watching a lot of barbecue shows and diners, drive-ins, and dives, and everybody concocts their own. So I put my recipes together, and I researched companies and found a company that will mix it and bottle it, and they helped me create my labels. All the labels are my names. They all have unique names.
But it's a big step from mixing stuff for your wife and kids and all that type of stuff to doing to what you're doing now. So what pushed you over the hump?
Well, that's correct. And the whole thing is I would send my recipes to them, and they would
Send them to who?
To this company that mixes it for me. And long story short, they would make suggestions, and we would tweak it, and they'd send me samples back, and I'd say, yeah, let's go with that. And
Okay.
So anyway, long story short, they added some things and took some things away, and I added some things and took some things away, and it all has worked out to a great blend of seasonings.
So do you have final say in the seasoning then?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, but you had to be mixing this stuff prior to working with this company, right? So
Yes.
at that point, before you decided to make this crazy decision to get into it the way you are, how many different mixtures did you have at that point? I mean, you got
time,
9 here in front of us.
Yes, so I had about 4 or 5 different
Okay.
mixtures that I created and played with throughout my cooking career. Yep.
All right, so I assume the big challenge then was trying to find a partner like you have to do the bottling and the mixing and stuff like that for you. So what is the process in finding somebody else? Is it just Google?
Yep, go online and find companies that mix seasonings and bottles them for you.
Okay, is it rare to find somebody that's as cooperative as this group seems to be?
No, because they also make other
Okay.
people's seasonings, and if you think about it, there's a lot of different seasonings on the market today, and they're all professional barbecuers that go to Rib Fest and different types of cooks all across the country every weekend.
Do you have a specific, I don't know what the word is, flavor-ish type that kind of runs through all the seasonings that you have?
Yes.
What would that be?
So salt, pepper, and garlic, and onions in a lot of them. That's your main key ingredients, and then you add different kinds of chili peppers and things like that to get where you need it to be. And then there's sugar in just about everything except one of my seasonings, and that's my bonfire steak.
Okay.
Because when you sear steaks at a high heat, you don't want them to burn, and that's what sugar causes is that to burn. And so my bonfire steak is a great seasoning that will not burn as you sear them.
Okay, so what would separate you guys, your stuff, from some of the other ones that you see on shelves that would be made from similar people like you?
Their notoriety across the country.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just a local guy that decided to open up his own seasoning line. And
You've gotten pretty far, though, in a year. I mean, if
Yes.
you think about that, because you've got your spices in quite a few local establishments.
yes, I've got them in 8 different stores in
That's
the Quincy
amazing.
area in less than 6 months.
Yeah, that's crazy, though.
Yeah.
If you think about other people trying to get in other stores, because rack space, and just, shout out to Neiman's and county markets, but rack space is not easy to get in these places.
No, it's not. But at the end of the day, all of those places love supporting local.
They do.
And I'm in Kohl Cash and Carry. I'm in Ace Hardware and county markets in Missouri, Hannibal, Palmyra, and Canton.
So before we started doing this, you talked about your mom. Was she the big inspiration for you getting involved in cooking?
Believe it or not, she was. And again, in 7th grade, she taught me how to make my first box of macaroni and cheese. And from there, it turned into fried bologna, which I still like fried bologna sandwiches. If you don't, you didn't grow up on it. But anyway, no, I've always loved cooking. But when I moved back to Quincy in 2017 is when I really got into smoking meats. And I told my wife, I said, if I ever die, don't give my smokers away because they're worth a lot of money.
Right.
And she laughs.
So how often are you experimenting then?
Right now, I've got 9 solid seasonings, and I'm set for right now.
Okay, so you've got one for poultry, just about everything. That fish.
Yes.
Is there something that? What about venison and things like that? Are you in the back of your mind always trying to come up with something different?
No, so like my all-purpose seasoning is salt, pepper, garlic, sugar, and onion. And it's great on vegetables. It's great on any meat as an all-purpose seasoning. But I always tell people, don't be afraid to layer your seasonings because you can go with an AP and then go with my cow dust, for example, for venison or any beef, any brisket, and man, does it give a really nice bark.
And it's experimenting almost like you did when you started doing all this stuff, right? Let's go back to the beginning though. So was there somebody that kind of gave you the shove that said, you know, Brian, a lot of people would probably like this. Why don't you look into bottling this stuff?
No, they just told me I should open a restaurant or have a food truck. And anyway, I surprised my wife one day. We were sitting out on our back patio and I'd gotten my samples back, and I said, hey, I want you to try these. And
she didn't know about the samples?
She didn't know about it.
That's not smart, Brian.
No, she didn't know about it, and I did it kind of behind closed doors, and then all of a sudden it popped up, and that's why I have one of my seasonings named after her, and that's my Boo Bayou, which is named after the song Linda Ronstadt from the 70s, Blue Bayou. So her nickname is Boo, and so it's Boo Bayou.
That's cool. And is that just for, is that a Cajun style?
It's a Louisiana flavor, yes, okay, cool. Absolutely.
How much inventory do you have?
So I have a storage unit here in Quincy.
You do? Okay.
Yep, out on Payson Road, and it's stocked, and you know, you got to have inventory. You can't sell what you don't have.
And that's the hard decision, you know, from selling kids books. The hard decision is just how much inventory you have, because you hope you have a lot, but then again, that's money sitting there that you're not getting rid of. So is that the biggest challenge that you are facing right now with the business?
No, again, I've got a company that works well with me, and we've got a great storage unit out south of town, and I go to the stores about every 7 to 10 days and check inventory, and I have it in my car, and what they're low on, I stock and invoice them, and it works out.
So are you surprised at how far it's come along then in like 15 months?
No, it went faster than I thought it would.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming in and telling your story.
I appreciate it.
Really
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so they can get it at, let's get back through, so all the Neiman stores, County Markets, Ace Hardware.
So they can get it at Neiman's on 24th Street, Hannibal County Market, Palmyra and Canton, Kohl Cash and Carry, Ace Hardware, and in both liquor booths on 12th and 36th Street.
All right, and then they can follow you on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Spotted Hog, right?
Spotted Hog Barbecue Seasonings and Rubs.
All right, Brian Spots, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
This has been the Business Spotlight. I'm Ron Kinscherf. This has been brought to you by the Bank of Springfield.
Sometimes life throws bold moments at you, like finding the perfect vacation or finding the ideal location. At BOS, we're there to help you meet those moments with bold confidence. So whether it's managing money for future plans or getting what you need to start planning your dream, we're here to bring you a better banking experience. Make the bold move and switch to BOS today.